I remember an instance that a man was walking past our compound and he saw me crying in the morning and asked what was happening to me. I told him I didn't have money to buy a report card. And how much was it? Report card was just 1 penny, I think, in 1969. It was just about 1 penny. And this man gave me 1 penny. I took to school the following day for my result to be written. Good evening, viewers. My name is Dr. Peter Alabi. I'm going to share the story of my life with you. I was born in a small village in Kogi State called Egume in the early 1960s, precisely 1963. My early life was spent with an uncle. I started living with him from the age of 5. He was not a Christian, but he didn't prevent me from going to church. All I needed to do was to make sure that I complete all I have to do at work, in the farm, the previous day, and Sunday morning I'll be free to go to church. The other thing that impacted my life early in life was the life of missionaries in our place, specifically the CMML missionaries. Paul Gross was the lead person at that time, and he used to come to our village for Sunday school. So every Sunday we gather, in our local church for Sunday school. And the attraction then was the gift, needles and threads, and then some handkerchiefs and a few other things that they used. If you're able to memorize memory verses, you are given those things. And so we're looking forward to those things every Sunday. I also entered primary school quite early. At the age of 6, 7, I entered primary school. Initially, it was what we call the CRI. A CRI was a period that we learned the native alphabet, which I did for 1 year before I went to a primary school. It was not quite easy because the uncle I was staying with did not have much fund. And so it was a lot of ups and downs. But academically, it was okay. I can remember that on certain occasions when results are out, to get report cards for my result to be written was even a problem. I remember an instance that a man was walking past our compound and he saw me crying in the morning and asked what was happening to me. I told him I didn't have money to buy a report card. And how much was it? Report card was just 1 penny, I think, in 1969. It was just about 1 penny. And this man gave me 1 penny. I took to school the following day for my result to be written. Primary school life, was quite exciting. We had teachers who were, real disciplinarians, and they taught us almost, everything, including how to take care of yourself hygienically. Handwork, we're engaged in doing a lot of things like handcrafts. And I was particularly interested in basket weaving, because during the period of handcraft, you are not to present money. You present what you are able to do with your hands. And as the Lord will have it, I think we were the first set that did not go to primary 7. We stopped at primary 6. And so when it was time to go to secondary school, there was a lot of challenges because the funding was not there. And not that the man was particularly poor, but because he didn't have a male child, his wife wouldn't allow him train any other person's child. I consulted with my parents and thought of going back, but they wouldn't allow me go back, because at that time you give your child to a relation of yours, and you ask him or her to come back, it generates a lot of enmity. So I had to, stay put. And my mother was, through the back door bringing money for me to continue my schooling. Apart from attending Sunday school, there were so many other activities, in the church that were, we partook in. But not necessarily, having accepted Christ as my Lord and Savior. We're just interested in those activities in church. And so life continued that way. Participated in drama and, a lot of other activities that we took part in primary school. Some of the things that shaped my life during my early years was a group of friends who had parents who were Christians, and they had a lot of exposure, and I saw them as role models, because what I didn't have, they had, and so I was looking up to them. They had senior ones who were already in secondary school, and some of them in the universities. So when they come home during Christmas, it's like these people are like semi-gods. We look at them from afar, and we're praying in our heart that one day we want to be like them. One day we want to be like them. So those were some of the things, that shaped my early life. And life at that time, it was communal. It was communal. You could go freely from compound to compound, eat, interact, and do so many things. And so nobody was afraid of his neighbor. Nobody, took any particular notice that somebody was going to harm you and the rest of them. And so we're just operating like friends and the family setting and the rest of them. So generally, the early life was good, apart from, this difficulty in sourcing money, for my education. And the early contact with the missionaries also helped to shape my life, even though I did not, accept Christ as Lord and Savior. Not because I didn't want to, but because nobody actually told us to. We were only involved in doing things, that we're told to do. Memorize memory verses, attend Sunday school, attend choir, and do so many other things that make you look like a good boy. And so that is how it continued until, we finished primary school. The other thing that shaped my life in primary school was some of our teachers. Some of our teachers were so nice. I remember one of them who had to even one day, during an assembly when they were giving speech and prize. It was a speech and prize giving day. And I happened to receive some prizes. And the man was so, he was so curious. Where are the parents of this boy? That where are the parents? Some of the pupils were accompanied by their parents, but I had nobody, and I was getting prizes. And so the man was curious. So one day he had to follow me to the house of my uncle to ask him, where are the parents of this boy? And my uncle told him he was my guardian. And from that time on, at least once in a while, my uncle will visit, the school during speech and prize giving day. Some of the teachers were also so instrumental, in terms of, guiding us in career choice and the rest of them. They will open up to us and say, look, when you finish primary school, you are going to going to secondary school, this and this and these are the courses you are going to, undertaking, and this one will lead you to this, that one will lead you to that. And so some of those early, advice actually helped to shape our life. And so overall, my early life was quite good. My early life was, in terms of doing what the Lord wants me to do, even though I didn't know what I was doing, I was just doing them at that particular time. My parents, as I said, were not Christians, and my guardian also was not a Christian, but my contact with missionaries helped to shape my early life and getting me to get introduced to Christian life at that early stage. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I will progress to another episode as time goes on to give a more detailed account of myself and the later life.
Viewers, with great pleasure, I welcome you to another season and a new episode. You have started to hear the story of the early life of Dr. Peter Alabi. Dr. Peter Alabi actually is a neurosurgeon. Whoever, from the story you just heard, could have imagined that a child who could not have one penny to go and collect his report card would one day become a brain surgeon. Only God can do such things. I told you in the earlier episodes that we recorded that God sets destiny helpers. Jehovah is a person who controls the destiny of people, who takes nothings and then he makes something out of them. Destiny helpers in the form of missionaries, the man that saw him crying for one penny and helped him, teachers who came in and became of great assistance in his life. As we continue these particular episodes, you will hear a lot about Peter Alabi. What I would like you to focus on, viewers, there is always an invisible hand controlling the destiny of people. And real life does not begin until that life-changing encounter. Let me invite you to keep date with us. Subscribe to this channel so that anytime we post a story, you are the first person to hear it. You're going to hear a lot of interesting things. When God zeroes in on them, it's God actually who looks for people. People don't look for God. Generally speaking, it's God who looks for people. Once God gives you his attention, your life will become a miracle. And that is what you are going to see in the story of Dr. Alabi. Please subscribe to this channel and forward these clips to your friends. We're starting a new series. And I know that as you have enjoyed our earlier series, you'll enjoy this one too. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and God bless you.